So today we'll be covering this topic on research design. So what is the research design? I hope I'm not covered with you.
No, sir.
You did not cover, sir.
Yeah. So the research design is basically, is the what it is, basically, the research design is you have understood the introduction, you have understood the problems, then you have written the the need for the study, then literature review, then and after literature review comes the methodology, or the after literature review comes the identification of variables, that which you have covered earlier, and then after identification of variables comes developing the theoretical construct, then comes hypothesis, and then comes methodology. Clear? This is the format. Now, here, in the research process, so in research design, like the first part, what we are going to study, you have to mention. What is this we are talking about? That's like introduction. What was the significance of study? Why you have taken this study? I'll give you some example, don't worry. Who did it earlier? What was done and what was not done? So basically a preamble बनाना पड़ता है. I'll just give you the example. Let us give the definition that will make you more. It's basically a blueprint, is a blueprint to the research approach. Blueprint means how we are going to do the research. Overall होता है ना research design में, overall how we are going to approach. That is what you have to write here. Overall approach. When you have studied, how you in your research proposal, how we will be doing. It will be will, right? We are not writing research paper. Here we are writing will do like that. It will be done. So future, it will be in future tense in the research design. Am I clear? No confusion?
Yes, sir.
And basically, it gives you the direction that how I'm going to do. So therefore, the research design also gives you information how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to collect the response, how we are going to communicate. So it is a nutshell, it is divided into methodology, is divided into three parts. One is research design, which gives you the overall approach. Then comes sample design, which gives you what sample you'll be taking and how you'll be taking. Then comes questionnaire design, which gives you how will you measure the different variables which you have identified in identification of variables and theoretical construct. And then data design. Data design is how will you analyze, what tools you'll be using. So it consists of 4 parts. And then one more part, University of Mumbai has added this year, is the chapterization, which I'll be discussing today. Okay. Otherwise, they say it is held up. Then they say you add this up, then this creates a project. Earlier we have not added till 2019. First time in 2020 after June, it has been added. So there really have 2 to 3 months, because first of all, I was wondering chapterization तो thesis में आता है, अभी research proposal में कैसे आ जाएगा? Then we have to go through the past and 10 years back data, because somebody has come in our committee who was there 10 years back, right? So he has brought this again, this concept. So we have to introduce this as a concept. So we are adding this like this. So I will just, since the time is research design, for an example, I'm just sharing one of the research paper which has come in the International Journal of Competitiveness. It is published by American Society of Competitive Studies. So this study basically is related to the speech of CEO. How at the annual gathering of CEO, they address the stakeholders, right? So what we did, we collected the annual speech report, and then for two companies, one Apple and second is we collected of Pepsi, and then we circulated their speech to our student as a pilot study, and we told them to list down the words, like I have not used the sprinkler or Tableau, which is the new software, which I on 17, 18th, in the morning, I think there is a lecture what MET person was saying that if you are interested, I will, otherwise forget it, you can attend next time. I am attending that lecture. So Tableau is another software, Sprinkler, which Venki is using already, this software. So, it catches the special words. So that's what we did it manually. We told the students to underline and make it the words which are repeated again and again. And these words, what we did, we listed down. So this is the step. What it says, it is a mixed research consisting of both qualitative, exploratory, and primary research. Why it is qualitative exploratory? Because we are trying to find out the content. So when you do the content analysis, it is an exploratory research, right? Using either Sprinkler or using Tableau software is a qualitative research, is not a quantitative research. So publication, it will have a problem. So I have given a brief introduction. Like CEO speech cannot influence customers who are not using the product, but can influence the stakeholders who are the user of the product. In case of CEO speeches, they are intended to be relevant to some stakeholders, but not necessarily customer or consumer. Therefore, this study is undertaken to study the impact of corporate identity on existing customer in bracket stakeholders due to CEO speech. So this I have introduced the the introduction. Why did I take up this topic? Taking from the cue from the introduction chapter. If you remember that, so usko thoda maine modify karke I have just explained that is why this topic, why this study is important, right? The methodology consists of 3 stages of research. So stage 1, first stage, as I told you that it was circulated to 20 students of, MBA students, and then total 30 minutes are given to record their views. Each paper is collected later on because it was a face-to-face. It was a physical lecture was there before Corona time. So, I collected and then, I listed down there, the sentences which were mentioned by the, highlighted by the students. So then, the second stage was that, we did it in terms of, 20 people highlighted, and then we try to develop their personality of the CEO, and then try to see whether the personality, see a CEO has certain image and personality, and with that image, can reflect on building of the brand identity. So that's what, we are trying to do it here. So then in the third stage, a structured questionnaire was administered to user of Apple and Pepsi, were given to this number of people, not students. And then we did the descriptive analysis. So this is how the first part was written as far as research design is concerned. Mota mota, it is basically describing the blueprint, how I'm going to do, when I'm going to do, the period, how I'm going to collect the data, and what is the significance of this collection of the data, which will be useful. Any confusion from my side? I hope there is no confusion.
No, sir.
And now I'll give you, this is taken from the first PhD, which we on REITs, which the person has already got in 2020 during the Corona time. It was lying there by 1.5 years in University of Mumbai. So, but finally he got PhD in 2020. And it is, see what he had written, a descriptive, quantitative and causal qualitative design has been used for the hypothesis formulation, which will determine the long run performance of REITs. The research design chosen for the study is descriptive and cross-sectional as it describes the characteristic of a population of a particular point of a time. So this is how it is, research design is written. Very brief in the research, because he was writing stories, so I said cut down, write brief so that there is no question will be asked much about it. So what I learned of research design, basically I learned is a plan to give outline of collecting data in doing research. It's basically a plan. Second is, it gives you approach and broad outline to do research based on the research question, where we have raised this research question in the introduction part. So the introduction part का जो research questions है, research problem है, वो जो है ना, in research design should be reflected in your writing. Am I clear here? That means whatever we raise questions in research problem in introduction section has to reflect in the research design to make it more clearer. And that will make you understand how should I go about it. Otherwise, many people, they write, but they don't know how to go about it, right? The research design gives a period of research and what steps are taken to undertake the research. Whether you'll hire some person or whether you'll take an interview, whether you'll do the Google form, whether you'll do the face-to-face interview, right? So both you have to write down here. Both will be taken time because Corona time you cannot go out and meet and then get infected, right? Still it will continue. So you have to write both. It will be both. It will be a hybrid mode of collecting the information, face-to-face as well as telephonic interview as well as Google form or monkeysurvey.com will be used to collect the data. This is how the research design is written. Any confusion from my side? I hope I have clarified.
Yes, no, sir, no question.
Yeah. Therefore, this is another example. See, for an example, secondary data is collected using various articles and research paper from Google search from 20th March to 18th May 2020. Right? The secondary data is collected from ProQuest, EBSCO, Google Scholar, and published data from the government reports, including TV, newspaper report, with the objective to collect information on COVID-19 and its impact on consumer behavior during lockdown. So this is explanation of research design. Then we are saying for primary data collection, the target segment is Indian respondent of different age group, gender, occupation, and income group. The study is conducted to find out the online purchase behavior of Indian consumer during Corona lockdown for hygiene and immune builder products using online structured questionnaire as a research tool. So we are describing. Then it also measures the mental state and attitude of the Indian consumer due to COVID-19 lockdown during the period from 20th March to 15th May 2020. It also tries to understand their feeling about job security due to Corona lockdown. This is how the research design is written. That means it is basically describing that how we'll be planning to do in the collection of data and all those things. So what I've understood, I'm repeating again, sir, is a blueprint. Number two, how you will be implementing your thought process, what you've written down in the, identifying the variables, hypothesis, how will you test the hypothesis, how will you collect the data, how will you measure the variables. All these will be mentioned in a very nutshell. So let me give you the example of the proposal one, how we have written in the proposal one of University of Mumbai. Let me make it a little bigger so that you understand how it is simple. Yeah, you can read it out. Research design, see, it will be done through two types of data. See, it is mentioned will be done. Are you getting my point? When research proposal, it will be done, right? Primary data will be collected. Pilot study will be done involving 30 people, right? Then you know what you will be doing, all these things I mentioned. Then example number two, see here. The samples will be, hospitality sector, executive from senior executive like Mumbai, Bangalore, Calcutta, Delhi, two tier cities like Pune, Cochin, Lucknow, all these companies executive. So he mentioned in here described. And he also mentioned research can be overwhelming, challenging. It's easy to confuse just from collecting, reading textbook, but it's also the story लिख दिया, ठीक है. उसके हाथ मैंने भी नहीं examine किया, but हो गया, clear हो गया. चलो ठीक है. Objective is to study the understanding of this hospitality sector. He is a director in Tata Group of companies. So this is the research proposal two. How it will be collected from banks, and the secondary data will be collected from published literature in national and international journals, so and so. Collect and then research design how will you analyze it? So that will be there. So this is so what it gives. I'm trying to hurry up. It gives you means of obtaining information. Basically, how did you collect the information? Whether I have data, whether I can collect the data or I can hire somebody to collect the data. But you cannot write in your research proposal. So you have to write down, it will be conducted personally by face-to-face interviews. And it should be flexible and it should be economical. This is what